Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into this show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. It's time to go around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. So on the docket for today, we have BILT finally getting its unicorn horn. We have the return of the Amtrak cards, and then we're going to close with a bunch of different lounges. We have the first Sapphire Lounge from Chase opening up. We have a refreshed Admirals Club plan, and we have a new Centurion studio in Florida as well. So we'll take a look at all those and see how Chase's first offering can potentially stack up to the rest of these lounges that are coming on strong. So of course, if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, of course, the big story of the week was the release, or going live, I should say, of the U.S. Bank Shoppers Cash Rewards card. Now, if you remember, we talked about it briefly on the show, or we probably spent a ton of time on it, actually, but we talked about it a week or two ago when U.S. Bank had the press release. They didn't give us all the information, but now we have all the information. Of course, the card is live for application. So, as you might have guessed, we have a full dedicated video link down below for you if you are interested with all the details. But with that, we move on to an already existing card and company, and that is the BILT Rewards. Now, BILT Rewards is the card that allows you to pay your rent with a credit card and gives you 1% back. That card is now being issued by Wells Fargo, as we've talked about, but BILT as a company recently got a new valuation, which basically tells you how much the company's worth based on capital they've raised, things like that. And now they have reached unicorn status. So in the world of venture capital and startups, a unicorn is really defined as a company that has a $1 billion valuation. So, you know, the Ubers, things like that hit 1 billion. And so overall, though, they're about a 1.5 billion valuation. Now, this comes after their last round of funding, but they've got about $213 million in total funding since 2021. $3.5 billion in annualized rent payments have been made on their system, $1.6 billion in annualized card spend, and they're also launching BILT Homes, which will help renters find similarly priced homes in the area. So basically, like, hey, what would your mortgage be? Would it be similar to the price you're paying for rent based on where you're living? Which overall is a pretty cool feature. So, you know, I'm not a renter myself, but I have been a big fan of the BILT Rewards card since it came out. Because, again, it does tackle, you know, a niche, and it's nice to see them expanding because, again, if they pave the way, I think others will follow suit, and we could one day potentially see, you know, rent or some other things like that, you know, becoming more of a commonplace on certain credit cards, or at least we can hope. So overall, you know, $1.5 billion valuation definitely shows that I'm not alone, and definitely some folks with some deeper pockets here are backing this. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on it, especially how that, you know, it continues to partner with Wells Fargo. I do think there is a play here for Wells Fargo to make the BILT Rewards travel portal and BILT points and things like that, you know, part of their overall Wells Fargo ecosystem as they, you know, launch, you know, the remaining cards, whenever that's going to be. Because I feel like they're kind of late on the rest of those cards, but of course, we'll keep an eye out for that. Now, we also have the return of the Amtrak card. So, Amtrak, they were with Bank of America, and Bank of America seems to be going through their co-branded portfolio and kind of paring it down. So, they are back now. They're with FNBO. So, not much has changed here, but we will take a look at them. So, here we have it. Again, there are two cards. Now, the one with the annual fee, I believe the annual fee went up a little bit. But overall, the one on the left here, of course, they have sign-up bonuses. But you're looking at 3 points back on Amtrak travel, 2 back on dining, travel, transit, and rideshare, 1 back on everything else, plus a 20% rebate on, you know, onboard food and beverage purchases. Versus, you know, the one with no annual fee, the multipliers, the lead multiplier just goes from 3 to 2, so not terrible. And of course, your rebate drops to 10%. Now, there's some other, you know, differences of the card as well. Clearly, you know, you would expect the one with the annual fee to have, you know, more of the benefits here. So you're talking about, you know, a companion coupon, 1 class upgrade, you know, station lounge passes, trip status, earn status faster. Of course, your points don't expire in any one of them. So overall, I mean, those are the Amtrak cards. So if you're a big fan or wanting one, they are back. You can let me know down below if you want a dedicated video to the Amtrak cards, but you know, they have found a new home. So those are what I would say are quick hits. Now we're going to take a look at 3 lounge stories and do a travel heavy middle and end section to this show. So, you know, we've talked a lot about Sapphire Lounges, right? Chase is opening up their own lounges, and of course, this is in partnership with the Club, which is basically, you know, a lounge operator which is within the Priority Pass network. Well, Chase has now launched their first Sapphire Lounge here, and unfortunately, well, I mean, it might work out for some of you, but it is in Hong Kong first, so we'll take a look at that, then we'll talk about a few other lounges and then come together with some final thoughts. So for the Chase one, here's what we know. Again, it opened on October 25th. It's just under 12,000 square feet. The current hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., though that might expand some. Now, this is a converted lounge, so it used to be one thing. Now it's a Sapphire Lounge. Again, the club owns or runs lounges, so they just kind of converted one. So as far as access goes, we're talking about Sapphire Reserve card holders, but you must activate your Priority Pass to get in. So I do believe you'll need your Priority Pass card or app. I don't think the Sapphire Reserve alone will let you in. Lounge key memberships and Priority Pass, of course, will let you in. So again, on screen, what we've been going through, this is compliments of the points guy. They got some pictures. I mean, from what we can see, it does look nice. I mean, the interesting part is they only have like 3 pictures. I mean, one of them is just a standard shot of a martini glass. So not a ton of information that they're offering here, which I thought was pretty interesting, given how popular lounges normally are, and they invite out the points guy, people like that to take tours. So I thought that was pretty interesting there. But with that, that's the Sapphire Lounge. Again, we'll do thoughts at the end. So now we also have American Express. So if you remember American Express, obviously they have the flagship Centurion lounges, but they also have much smaller ones called like Centurion Studios, which is a partnership with like Escape Lounges. And they have those in smaller airports, but the numbers are growing. So we now have our first look at one that they opened in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, airport. So let's take a look at that. Same deal here. You can get in with an access, of course, with a Platinum card, your Delta Reserve, or you can buy a $45 day pass. I believe if you buy the pass early online, it's only $40. Now, they have food by a chef as well, who runs a restaurant down there. This seats about 150 people, so yes, that is small, but again, Fort Lauderdale, smaller airport, and the studios are supposed to be smaller overall, so that's not too shocking. So again, as we scroll through the pictures, I mean, it looks pretty nice. Again, they're pictures. They can be taken with a wide-angle lens or something, like they do in real estate, but overall, I mean, it does look like there's a lot of space. I'm kind of liking the layout, for again, considering it's like a mini Centurion Lounge. I think this is, more of a nicer looking airport than anything else. The bar area looks pretty clean. Obviously, the food is supposed to be good. You have an airside view, which I always tend to like. It never really gets old looking at planes taking off and landing, but overall looks pretty nice to me there. So that is the Amex Centurion Studio. Of course, more are coming, as we go. Now, the last one here is more of a restyling or a refresh. So Admirals Club, which is one of the ones that's not really talked about as much, because it's much harder to get Admirals Club. I think only the American Airlines executive card from Citi can get you Admirals Club, but you don't see it too much. But Admirals Club is saying, hey, don't forget about us. We've been actually refreshing some of our lounges as well, or opening new ones. So we have the fully refreshed version of one in DC is now up and running. So we also have a tour from that from 1 mile at a time. So here you have it on screen if you're not sick of lounge pictures yet. Now, of course, here's the quote. When customers step inside, they will be welcomed by signature brand elements and references from local landscapes and landmarks that tell the story of each city and create a sense of place. Wellness will uniquely shine through selective design elements that set a tone of calm and familiarity. Sustainability is also built into the new design in international ways, such as brand elements made of renewable American walnut in every lounge. So that's kind of the feel that they're going for in their lounges. But overall, again, I think this one looks pretty nice as well. I can't be honest, I haven't been to an Admirals Club before, but again, as far as lounges go, I mean, it looks spacious. Looks like they definitely did a good job of refreshing. I mean, you can see the touches of walnut there. It looks like there's ample seating, bar area, things like that. Of course, there is a VIP room as well. Not sure what that's about yet, but I'm sure someone will go and report back for us. So there you have it. Those are our 3 lounge stories. Now, thoughts overall here. Again, I think they all look nice. I mean, we're getting to the point where people know how to make lounges, but I think really the thought here is around Chase and the Sapphire Lounge. I think we've known this for some time, because the club is going to run them, that you can get in with Priority Pass. But it's also very weird to me that having a Sapphire Reserve actually does nothing for you to get in. It's kind of funny that you could actually have a Capital One card, you have the Venture X, because it gets you Priority Pass and still get in to the Sapphire Lounges, plus the Priority Pass and Plaza Premiums that they have, and the Capital One Lounges for less than, because it's a $395 card versus $550 card. I also think it's telling, it could potentially be telling that they only have 3 press pictures and one of them is just a dude holding a glass. I mean, that one doesn't even count. So yes, the lobby, the atrium walk-in looks really nice, but Now it could be because they just took an existing lounge and refreshed it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but a lot of these newer lounges, they're like fresh builds from the ground up, right? The airport's expanding, or they do complete teardown. So that could be a reason as well. But I do think it's interesting that they didn't bring some of the big news outlets to do a full tour and pony show and all that deal. But anyways, I think also Chase will probably need to figure something out, because if these are just widely open to folks at Priority Pass, I don't know that's going to do much to make the Sapphire Reserve a differentiator in its own right? Like, I think it's just interesting that it would make more sense the way they're going currently to get a Platinum card or get a Venture X card and also get access to these lounges versus get a Sapphire Reserve card that's only going to give you a few Sapphire Lounges in Priority Pass versus the others arguably give you a lot more. So I think they're going to have to do something with that. I also think they should probably give some passes to the Sapphire Preferred as well. Again, that's something that Capital One does, like the Venture and then the Spark Miles card get passes. I think you get 3 visits a year or something like that. It's 2 or 3 visits a year, which is nice because it gives people a taste of it and can help push them either to, stay in that. Like 3 could be enough so they don't want to go elsewhere, or it could be like, hey, you know what? I like this. I come here a lot. I want to punch up to the Big Brother card. I think Chase should also look at something like that. Not to leave the Sapphire Preferred out there, because I do think eventually Capital One should definitely refresh their Venture card and make it more competitive. So, I think it's still too early to call one way or the other from Chase's side. I think Boston Sapphire Lounge is opening in 2023, so I think that'll be the real time where we see, okay, what did they do? And do they come up with some kind of differentiator to make, Sapphire cards, having a Sapphire card mean something? Because right now it wouldn't mean anything to have the Sapphire card and go to the Sapphire Lounge. It's basically just going to be the club Priority Pass Lounge to most other people. And I think that could be a potential problem as you try to build out and strengthen the ecosystem. I think they could also play around if they wanted to have higher redemptions for lounge passes, day passes on the other Chase cards. I don't know what the redemption would be really, but if you could cash in some Ultimate Reward points, because they do have travel tie-ins with all the Freedom cards, at least they get the 5x through the portal, so that could be something as well. Maybe if you get a lounge pass through the portal, it's like a little different of a price for Ultimate Reward points. I don't know, so what point is there's definitely some ideas there to help try to differentiate a Sapphire from just being a regular Priority Pass and everyone getting in. But these are my early thoughts, and again, I think we should reserve full judgment until their state side and really make a huge marketing push. But of course, let me know your thoughts down below, especially you frequent travelers. What do you think Chase should do to kind of help, combat these other lounges? They're still coming on strong. Love to get your thoughts on that. Anyways, guys, that has been the news for this week. So, of course, if you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, of course, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, posting content just like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. Again, question for you guys is let me know down below what you think of these stories. We were really travel and lounge heavy this week. But if you've seen anything else in the news you want to chat about, love to get your thoughts about it down below. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you on Monday.